Hey, what's going on, guys? Let's talk about Borderlands 4. So first off, we got to talk about the visuals here, and I personally think this is a step up visually, obviously compared to Borderlands 3. It feels a lot more like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands on the visual side of it. It's very colorful and vibrant and stuff like that. Definitely feels like a PS4 to PS5 like upgrade of Borderlands 3 though. Like the game mostly looks similar to what we got in previous Borderlands games, just with like a shinier coat of paint, 4K 60, which I feel like we got with the PS5 upgrade of Borderlands 3. But it runs well. I mean, I didn't notice a lot of frame dips, surprisingly, with all the complaints I've been hearing about the PC performance of it. I did have a couple crashes during my playthrough, so I do have those complaints there. And I guess another complaint I would have about visuals is it does, like I said before, it just feels kind of like the same. Like there wasn't any environments that we went to where I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Because I think honestly we've seen some pretty cool environments in Borderlands games, so it's gonna take a lot for them to make a game that we're kind of like, shit, ain't seen that before. So visually it's good. It's not bad. Like I said, few crashes. I did see like a funny article from Randy Pitchford being like, well, not from him, but about him basically being like, hey, the game runs shittier the longer you play it, so just close it out and restart it. So like, when it crashes, I ain't got a choice. I kind of have to close it out and restart it, Randy, but good advice. Gameplay wise, it's pretty fun. Like it's a step up from other Borderlands games. I think this game in its entirety is a step up. We'll start there. So shooting feels a lot more snappy and punchy when you're shooting enemies. Definitely feels like I'm hitting the targets I want to hit. There's a lot more verticality in the movement, like you're like climbing up these short walls. You have a grappler now, you have a glider now. Obviously you have different vehicles that you get into the game. The weapons, which I know everybody is what they really cares about, they're good. There was, for the first like 5-10 hours, it didn't feel like I was seeing a whole lot of variety in the weapons I was getting. I was a little bit disappointed actually because I didn't really get a lot of heavy ordnance weapons. I had grenades, but you always get those really early on in Borderlands games. But I got like a minigun probably like 6-7 hours into my playthrough, and I was like, damn, I feel like I should have had something here now. But like the abilities kind of make up for that side of it. I chose to play as the Exo Soldier with the cannons, so like I was kind of like a one-man army, which is kind of how I play these games for the most part. I'll probably play another playthrough with the other classes because they do also seem kind of cool after I'm done recording this review. I did roll credits on the game, by the way, about 20-25 hours. The verticality, again, like I was talking about before, is kind of nice. Being able to like glide over long distances this time around makes it fun. The climbing is a nice little feature to have. The grappler is pretty cool because you can actually grapple barrels and throw them at enemies, which is a nice change because it just allows another way for you to interact with the combat in the game. So gameplay wise, it's solid. It's solid as fuck. Like it's a good game. I have no complaints as far as like the actual gameplay mechanics. My complaints are more on like the variety of the weapons and just like, yeah, pretty much that's it. Just the variety of the weapons. Story-wise, it's pretty run-of-the-mill for a Borderlands game. You're a vault hunter who ends up on this planet, and you're working with this rebellion group called the Outbounders, and obviously other allies as well, working to kind of stop the Timekeeper. So it's pretty run-of-the-mill. I feel like we've seen this in other Borderlands games. You're a nobody, or you work with a group of people to fight a big bad, and you get to the vault. Like it's pretty run-of-the-mill. There are twists and turns a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's a pretty run-of-the-mill story. Not a bad run-of-the-mill story. It's enjoyable. So I think they did a pretty decent job here. But overall, Borderlands 4 is a good game. It's a solid step up from Borderlands 3 and even Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Well, I know a lot of people like to treat like the redheaded stepchild here. Visually, it looks good. I think that it's more vibrant than we've seen in past games. I didn't see a lot of performance issues as far as frame dips. I did have a couple crashes during my playthrough. I guess my only real complaint with the visual side of the game is that it does kind of get a little samey after a while, but I think we've seen so many cool environments in previous Borderlands games. It's going to be hard for them to make a Borderlands game where we see an environment and we go, damn, that looks crazy. I think the only way that would happen is if they completely changed the art style of the game, but it seems like we're sticking with the cell shaded or whatever you want to call it art style we have here. Obviously we did go to a different engine, I believe, with this one. Gameplay wise, it's good, it's solid. I like the fact that the guns feel a little bit tighter and a little bit more punchy than they did in Borderlands 3. I love the verticality of the combat. You know, now with the double jump feature, you can kind of double jump and come down on top of an enemy this time around. Being able to grapple barrels and throw it at enemies. Being able to grapple to get along different environments. There's way more verticality in the way you get around this world. There's like a navigator thing that you use the Echo 4 to kind of like help you navigate to your next missions and stuff like that. And it was a good feature, definitely like one of those cool accessibility things, if it worked. Because sometimes I would use it and it would like circle back and I'd be like, pretty sure I gotta go that way, why are we going the long way? But I digress. And I love the skill trees for it, because I was a little nervous they were going to be overwhelming, because Gearbox kind of made it sound like they were going to be staggering, and really it's not that bad. It's pretty substandard, honestly, for what you would expect for like a first-person shooter RPG skill tree. Story-wise, it's a Borderlands story. You work as a vault hunter, you work with a rebellion group to stop this big bad who's acting like a tyrant on this planet, and so on and so forth. And you know, you go on these quests and these missions, and you eventually make it to a vault and stuff like that. So which I won't spoil anything about the story. I threw that little vault thing in because I want to throw anybody off the trail here if they're thinking I'm hitting that spoiler. So like, it's a pretty run-of-the-mill game. So if you liked Borderlands, you're gonna like this game, because it's just more Borderlands. It's just, in my opinion, the best form of video game junk food we're gonna get. It does feel a little bit streamlined, but I mean, it's more Borderlands. So if you love that series, you're gonna like this game, in my opinion, because it is an improvement on games we've gotten in the past. I feel like I should mention the dialogue in this game has improved exponentially from Borderlands 3, and even Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I think they've really focused on dialing in the humor in this game, and I think they did a good job there. So let me know what you guys think. Like I said, this for me is like a, if you like Borderlands, play it. If you don't, I don't know that it's gonna change your mind on the series, but let's talk about it down below. Are you still playing it? I'm still in the end game. I just rolled credits, but I'm still just kind of like going around doing side missions. And what are you guys doing in it? Peace.